I can't believe it, I get to be here again. Oh, hey Blurr. What do you mean you get to be here again? I get to have another GotBot review. Well, good for you. You're looking a little bit different there. That's because this was the first suit I ever had. What do you mean it was the first suit you ever had? This was the way I looked when I first came out in G1. Oh yeah, so it is. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Thanks for dropping by, and we're going to take a look back, a step back in time at this guy today. It is the original G1 Vintage Blurr. Hey folks, as always, I appreciate you dropping by. I am your host, Dennis Bolton, aka GotBot. Please check out Machinery Men, the Everything Factor. Check me out everywhere, and like, comment, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. And I want to start out with something a little bit different here. I just want to do a quick GotBot PSA, I guess you could say. I've always tried to bring the community together. We've all come into the fandom in different ways and at different times and for different reasons. In fact, just recently, I kind of done a countdown of my 10 reasons why I collect, and it's been really interesting around everywhere, finding out the reasons that other people do. And some of it is really surprising, some of it is really inspirational, believe it or not. But I kind of, in different ways, love all iterations of the franchise. Whether I'm a particular fan or not, I appreciate the fact that other people are. And I appreciate the fact that, they have a passion for what we all love in their own way. And that's why I, look at a lot of mainline chug stuff, largely because that's what I'm most drawn to. Personally, I've looked at some G1 stuff because I know that there are people that enjoy that, and it's fun to take a look back. In episode 164, I looked at Action Masters. In 160, I looked at G1 Ultra Magnus. If we go back a little bit more, I looked at, let's say, G1 Omega Supreme back in 156. I've taken a look at really the only animated figure that I have, and that would be Black Arachnia, and I looked at her a long time ago, way back in episode, what was that? 29, episode 29 was Black Arachnia. I guess I've always tried to advocate the idea that, hey, you should like what you like and love what you love, and it's cool that all of us enjoy this whole world that has been created here. Now, why do I bother to bring that up? Because there are still people out there, sometimes, who, I guess, see their love for the franchise and stick just to that, without, I guess, appreciating everything else that has added to the franchise. And I don't know if I am the rebel nerd or if I am more of a nerd than the rest of us, but recently I can't believe this, I got ousted and blocked from, we'll say, a certain collector group on a certain social media site. Now that's fine, that's their prerogative. Hey, no problem. I understand them wanting to, keep the integrity of what it is that they're trying to focus on. No problem, and best of luck to them. But the PSA part comes in right now. I don't understand why any of us need to draw these lines between, I guess, the areas that we love. Why is it that we all can't just enjoy and appreciate the different streams of the fandom for what they are? folks, there's a place for us all. Anyway, that's kind of my little spiel, I guess you could say there. And we're gonna move right into this guy. Paint apps for G1 Blurr. Again, I'm gonna call him. I guess I'll call it a 10. It's I guess compared to the animation, it's not quite a 10. It's more like a 9. I mean, it's great, but I mean the face here is blue instead of being silvery-ish. There's not as much silver down on his lower legs. You know, I mean, it is what it is. But at the same time, you kind of want to call it a 10 because it holds its own place, and so it should hold its own place. I mean, this is what so much else has been based off of. So paint apps, yeah, I kind of feel like I have to give the guy a 10. We recently got, you know, this update. I don't feel like his paint apps are as good, obviously, and you can see the comparison there between the two of them. The Legends version of the Titans Return Blur is obviously colored much better. I took a full look at this guy and the mod that I did on him so that he can transform without having to remove his head way back in episode 138. And if you're wondering about the mod, well, hey, check that one out. Articulation for this guy. Again, at the time, it was pretty good. I mean, the head can go down and up. It's really for transformation, but he can still look down and up. No side to side. The arms can go around 360. I guess he can shrug, go but of course they're supposed to be down. Nothing at the wrist, no elbows. The legs cannot go out to the side or forward. They can, however, go well back. So that was pretty cool for the time. He has a knee, which is nice, and he even has a little bit of toe tilt. Again, if we're comparing it by today's standards, obviously, his articulation is quite limited. For the time, his articulation was probably about an 8, because it was really good for that era. By today's standards, it's probably about a 4. You know, it's probably a 4. I find it really hard. I can't really grade these guys as I, you know, do with other figures because there's such a history and so much is based on these guys. Nice drink of coffee. Transformation. Oh, I guess I should talk about his accessories. He came with this little gun blaster thing. It's okay. I kind of don't understand why the Titans Return version has a silver one when this is black. I feel like, you know, I guess this is more accurate. He also comes with his shield, the front of his car, and of course the Titans Return one can also, you know, you can take off the, you know, you can take off the whole backpack piece to get that shield look, and I think that's really cool. Now, that being said, there is a weakness with this if you're not careful, and I suffered it, and I bet you that a lot of you know exactly what it is. I broke off one of these. It's so sad that I broke off one of those, but you know, sometimes that happens in a little life, folks. Sometimes a bit of rain must fall, and that was one of them for me. So be delicate. If you have this guy, be delicate with that piece. He still transforms fine, despite that. Obviously, it wouldn't if I broke off the other one. So I try to take kind of care of this guy now. But, you know, again, he can have the little blaster thing in his hand, and you can put the shield, because there's a little peg here on the back, you can put the shield in his hand. Just like that, and he is ready, you know, ready for battle. I always enjoyed Blur. I did. I don't know why. I have enjoyed almost every incarnation of this guy. He's just, I don't know, Blur's just a fun character. He is just a fun character. So, transformation. I'll say this, mine is a little loose. You've probably seen this arm flap fall down a few times. But we're going to get right into it and, you know, have a look at how this guy goes back and forth from one mode to the other. Okay, so where do we begin with them? We bring up this backpack, and I don't even know if I can show it. Back here it's on a nice die-cast pin, and you don't just flip it up. You have to sort of angle it up a bit. You can see the black in right here, I hope. I hope you can see that. Down like this. See if I can show it here now. Angle it up like that. And then you can bring it up over the head and push it all the way forward. Next, you take the arms and you push them back. Maybe I don't quite have this all the way up the way it should be. There you go. All the way up now. Take the arms and push them back. And then the little flap down underneath comes out. And you push it in. My arms are kind of loose, I have to say, so they're probably gonna, if I don't hold on to them, they sometimes sort of flop down, although they're not doing it too bad there. Next, take the toes and flip them down and flip them down. Just like that. And then the whole bottom of this guy comes up and under, and there's some nice clicky ratchets there. And I'm gonna say this, you talk about materials, hey? This whole piece, I believe, is die cast. It certainly feels it. The legs are all die cast. This guy's got some heft, to be honest with you. And we have this. Is his shield that just tabs in underneath. And in the end, boom, there you go. G1 Blurr in all of his glory. Of course, the arms want to fall down on mine a little bit just because they're loose after 30 years. He looks sleek. He does. He looks sleek. He looks great. I absolutely, positively was happy with this. And I had the Generations Blur, and I liked that one. But it didn't quite look like this. The new Titans Return one, that kind of does. In fact, just to prove the point, here you go. And you can see, you know, the original and the updated one. I think that the colors on the Titans Return one match a lot better here. You can see how they were certainly going for toy accuracy here. You know, they do. It looks good. That's the one reason that I prefer this guy. Because he has a lot of influence from this original one. Do I think that this is a bit better? Yeah, probably, just because it has more articulation and it has updated technology. But here's your benchmark, folks, and he rolls great. I know he's supposed to be like a hover car thing, but he rolls great. He has tires here and back here. He's fantastic. He is, now and evermore, Blur. Anyway, that's it for this guy. If I had to give him an overall score, by today's standards, obviously he would be lower, but at the time, the guy was 8 or 9. He was a fantastic figure to have in your collection. And I'm glad that I had him. Now, he did come out later on with his Target Master, who I think this guy's supposed to be homaging again, except now as a head. I never bothered to get that one because the only real difference is that he had the Target Master and there was an extra port for storage of the Target Master, as I understand it. He was great. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this guy. You know, I want to say, as always, thank you for dropping by and giving me some of your valuable time. I know that we're all part of this community, and I know that you have a lot of, you know, options and choices of people that you can look at and look to see content like this. And I want you to know that, you know, I really, honestly, sincerely do appreciate everybody that gives me a few minutes of their valuable time. I know everyone is busy, so it is beyond appreciated. That being said, I guess the only thing left to say is thanks for watching, and I certainly look forward to the next time that you and I get together right here for another visit inside the videos.